We're more than a travel company. More than a collection of some of the world's most iconic experiences. We're a promise that when you come with us, we'll go further and take you deeper. Across legendary rail journeys, tours, cruises, lodges and destinations. To make it unforgettable. Journey Beyond.
Thanks. Oh, round of applause for the video. Great marketing video, Juz.
Thanks, Dad.
So, Justine, are we friends?
Or are we the ultimate frenemies?
Look, we know that there is obvious friction between sales and marketing, and we'd like to talk through how you can take that friction and actually turn it into something really, really special. Ultimately, use that friction and use it for good, not evil. So how do we get here? First, I think it's important to say that in our office, marketing is absolutely more cool than sales is. So Justine had to explain to me who both these people are. So I hope there's a few people that do know who they are. But look, when we were researching this topic, we found that 87% of the words that salespeople use to describe marketers and marketers use to describe salespeople are negative. So just think about that for a second. For those of you who were at the presentations this morning, the negative connotations and the negative perceptions around each of these departments, 87%.
So it has been a bit of a rivalry of the ages. It's sometimes, or some organisations, it might just be subliminal digs about ghostwriters and their sales presentations or their top 100 hits. At other times, it's just the all-out greatest rap beef we're seeing of all time.
So we thought, in order for us to really dive into what this beef looks like, we talked to a few different sales and marketing professionals in the tourism industry, and we wanted to really break down the common perceptions we've got of each other. This is the 87%, right? So marketing. Marketing has all the fucking money, right? So who are the salespeople in the room? How many BDMs could you put on the ground globally with the type of budget that marketing has? Also, how do you truly quantify the value of all of that money? What is the budget associated with that? And with so many tangible and intangible factors, how do you know that's actually working? Okay, so marketers love a brand campaign. Look, you can say this is because of brand awareness, differentiation, customer loyalty, value proposition, or you can call it what we all think, Justine. It is marketing's opportunity to be the Beyonce of the business world. So if you have a look at this image, I can genuinely imagine Justine dancing in front of one of her out-of-home placements in Melbourne for Australia by train. It is a chance to get the brand out, do a little shimmy and shout, look at me, I'm fabulous. Okay, so there's not much laughing, which makes me think that you're all fucking marketers. That's okay, all right, that's better. Okay, so we'll go back. So assume that they know what's working. Oh, sorry. So Justine, what part of that media spend actually drove the client to go to their travel agent to book the train, or was it actually not the out-of-home advertising and maybe the agency's loyalty that they have with that particular customer that was maybe kind of initiated by the BDM that got out there to create the product knowledge? Okay, so they don't ever get out there, right? So marketing sit in what I can only imagine is the most beautiful, glorious ivory tower, which is surrounded by digital moats and virtual drawbridges. Why would you talk to real people when you can crunch some numbers and speak to AI? Run a few algorithms and boom, we've got ourselves a marketing strategy which is impenetrable as the beautiful ivory tower which we sit in. Our mere sales peasants must look so small from up there. And then outsourcing to agency. So really lucky they've got that huge bundle of money, because why would you do any of the work yourself? Right? So you've got an agency for everything. You've got your creative agency, you've got your media buy, digital, social media agency. And also, where is Justine today? Because I swear she's being hosted at another Channel 7 lunch.
All right, sales.
You're a bit quiet.
No, don't hate on us because you can't be us, even though most of the time everybody in sales thinks they're a marketer anyway. But there is a bit of a saying around office that there may be glorified muffin droppers.
We deliver champagne, just so that you know.
What do you do all day? Start the morning slowly in your snuggly, then think about heading down to Chadstone, dropping into Country Road on your way to see that agent? Maybe. Otherwise, if you're not meandering around a major shopping mall, maybe you're at some exotic sales conference again. No names mentioned, but I'm pretty sure someone spends more work hours with a cocktail or champagne in hand than she does her computer mouse. This year, or the remainder of this year, I'm pretty sure her schedule has Tokyo, Marrakesh, and Lisbon in there. It sounds like the set list of the next James Bond film, really. And then we do all this hard work, and then there's lots of opportunities that are missed. We work on that beautiful image, that beautiful copywriting, create a beautiful profile of what our amazing travel experiences
in front of your out-of-home advertising in Melbourne.
experiences are going to be, and it's a quick swipe left. Those opportunities that we do kind of connect with, maybe it'd be great to listen and get to know them first before start just talking and selling. More listening, less talking sales. Unless we could potentially talk about your sales schedule, or even if there is a schedule. If you really want something briefed in the day before it's due, have a look at sales. It'd also be great if that sales schedule and that sales blitz aligned with what we were doing from a big brand and a business campaign. And then the last, which is a favourite, is it would really be great if that schedule could be aligned with briefing in corporate comms and our LinkedIn profile, and not quickly doing your own humble brag on LinkedIn first. And finally, that obsession with free, price, discount. They love to work on a tactic rather than a strategy, and love to sell on price rather than a value.
So, look, we joke with each other, but everything that both of us just said then actually came from our own teams, and we think that we have a very, very cohesive sales and marketing team. So if we have a look at what we are doing currently, we have a genuine lack of respect for the skill sets and core competencies for each other's roles.
And I think the other key component is we are very much aligned or referenced together when it comes to the wider business. It's always sales and marketing, sales and marketing. But really, we attract really different types of people who spend their times and their days in really different ways.
So we thought we'd break this down a little bit and have a look at what makes a really great marketer and what makes a really good salesperson.
Great marketers. They understand what's happening in the market, they understand the revenue targets they need to achieve, how to get that customer through, all the way through that customer journey. They're strategic, they do their research, then that drives data-driven decisions. They collaborate, and then they balance their long and their short-term goals.
What makes a great salesperson? If we are exceptional listeners, we're also great negotiators. We have great product knowledge, concentrating on revenue growth. Passion in product is absolutely critical, and we're great collaborators.
So how can we close the gap?
So you have a look, and obviously marketing wanted a Venn diagram up there. However, the pieces in the middle are actually really important, because these are the things that we all need to be focused on collectively. So collectively, we have to be focusing on driving revenue. And I know sometimes from a marketing perspective, it's hard to talk about revenue. You want to be talking about brand awareness and loyalty and campaigns, but we are driving revenue.
We're also collaborating.
Didn't collaborate so much on that one, did you? We've got strategic thinking and exceptional product knowledge, whilst we're also incredibly analytical and...
Most importantly, we're both really focused on the customer. We are the window and the gateway from what's happening in the market and what's happening with the customer straight through to the boardroom. If we're not at that table, that customer perspective is rarely covered.
So we know the problem now, right? We know the problems, and I'm sure that you've all got these within your specific organisations. But before we go into actually closing the gap and how we recommend you to move forward here and make the most out of these relationships, we thought there's actually some generalised myths that we wanted to bust here. And what I'd recommend you to do from here is make sure that you unlearn what you have been told probably over and over again by the world's worst leaders as you were coming up through the ranks. So the first
is you no longer need to leave your shit at the door. COVID really showed that we were whole people. We weren't just our corporate personas and our corporate life. We have the same washing hanging up on the clothes horse behind us for 4 days straight. We have children running around. We have dogs that need cuddling.
All conflict is bad. Conflict is not bad if you do it in the right way. In fact, you cannot have fire without first sparking that match.
Don't make close friends with those that you work with.
Okay, so I'm actually going to go into that one a little bit. Just tried really hard, by the way. Really, really hard. But we heard earlier with one of the keynote presenters talking about how mental health, anxiety, stress, they're huge contributing factors to what is going on in our world right now. So if you could have, a few people have got a cocktail here, so if you could have a cocktail that you could give to your teams and it would reduce their stress and it would mean that their mental health improved, it would increase retention, it would increase loyalty, would you do it?
Yes.
Yep, it's a legal cocktail as well. So basically, by building authentic and real relationships with the people that you work with, that produces our favourite neurotransmitting cocktail in your brain. It's DAZE, it's dopamine, oxytocin and serotonin, and it will give you all of those benefits that I just listed, and that is just from making a few friends with the people that you work with.
So if there is conflict between the two teams, or specifically between the two leaders, how do we go about resolving this conflict?
Okay, so we've got our 12 top tips for you to take away here. The first is background, so understanding the background, the sharing of information, making sure it goes into plans and strategies.
Make sure your plans are then aligned. So never submit or finalise a plan before just sharing it with each other, running it by and aligning what you're both trying to do at certain times of the year.
And once you're doing that, you're also sharing the results to those plans as well. But I'm not just talking about the good results, because quite often we do that. We only share the good results with the other departments, and then we talk about the bad results with our own. So make sure that you're sharing both and you're coming up with solutions.
And take the time to define your relationship at a longer term and a strategic level, but also annually. We do an annual sales and marketing conference. It used to just be a sales conference until we invited ourselves along. But each year now we get both full teams together and really define what each team will be doing and leading and how the other one will support.
Building personal relationships, I think we've touched on.
Value the feedback. Take the time to bring your colleague in at different stages along the process. Don't also expect it to be perfect to show. Get feedback early on.
We disagree all the time. It's really important what Justine just said about feedback, because you should disagree in private. So create a safe space between your sales and marketing team that you can have it out in private, but when you're presenting your solutions, you're doing that publicly.
And be prepared. So that, again, is taking the time to understand each other's positions before you go into the meeting or the presentation, so that way you'll know if there's any potential friction coming.
Disciplined communication.
Joint task force, both for challenges or opportunities. Get cross-sections of your both teams and align them to address a fun project that's coming.
This is something so obvious, but I guarantee you lose sight of this, it will absolutely have a negative economic impact on your organisation, and that is having a shared passion. If sales and marketing do not have a shared passion and they're running to different finish lines, they are ultimately running in total opposite directions.
And lastly, present together and join meetings together. Not only at opportunities like this, but quite regularly, Alicia will invite me along to other partner or supplier meetings that I might not necessarily need to be in at that time, but can provide insight or take insight. We also quite regularly will invite our EGM of growth along as well. So bring different skill sets and cross-function in from the business at different times.
Okay, and then we go through the benefits of working together.
Why are we doing all this? Because it's going to be a better guest experience. There's going to be the right expectations and consistencies throughout their entire journey with the brand.
It means that if you've got both different streamlines working together, that you're going to have better insights and great feedback loops.
Whoop. There was more than two.
I was really nervous being the clicker, and that was for a good reason.
Okay. It'll also ensure we've got a strong brand reinforced at all of our touch points.
Which gives us faster sales cycles.
Better revenue and conversion results.
Cost efficiency, so retail tactical campaigns that are leveraging off your brand campaigns.
You'll also develop more innovative strategies together.
With a competitive advantage.
And you're just creating a great company culture where you actually want to go and work. So really, in starting to wrap up, comparison is the thief of joy. You really don't want to start or let people create a narrative around sales versus marketing or unfair drama between the two teams. Just as there can be two fabulous, amazing female entertainers at any one time changing the economic GDP of small nations, there can also be a really strong sales and marketing team that can both work together for success. It is pointless and unproductive to try to minimise the results and the impact of one team to highlight the achievements of the other.
I love this slide because who's a Taylor Swift fan? You are all marketers.
Well.
Who's a Beyonce fan? Right, so the idea that you have to choose and put all of your respect into one basket is ridiculous, right? Because to wrap up, the dynamic between sales and marketing is actually what drives our success. This is the friction creating the fire. So I always like to relate this back to a glass of champagne. So much like the beautiful bubbles in a glass of champagne, each bubble represents a collaborative effort or a strategic move or a successful campaign. So when sales and marketing actually work together, the result is a celebration of achievement and growth. So I challenge you all to do this. Let's continue to innovate and support each other, which we do so well in this industry, but let's make sure that we're constantly disagreeing. We're constantly challenging the process, we're creating that friction, we're not leaving our shit at the door, and let's do a toast to future victories because this is a really exciting journey, and if you get it right, it makes the world of difference. And ultimately, if you had to put all of your respect and admiration into one champagne glass and it had to be Taylor Swift or Beyonce, you don't have enough fucking champagne. Go and get some more champagne because there's always more to be drunk. Get it right.
Thank you.
Thank you.